Hello and welcome to my new channel. Here is a recipe of a traditional Bangladeshi chicken curry. So let's start with the ingredients. Firstly, you need 4 tablespoons of oil, 1½ chopped onions, 1 teaspoon of garlic and ginger paste, 4 cloves of garlic chopped, 2 teaspoons of salt, cinnamon, cardamom, cloves and bay leaves. Here is what I've used to measure out these spices. 1 tablespoon of Zira, which is also known as cumin powder. 1 tablespoon of Haldi, which is known as turmeric powder. 1 tablespoon, or according to taste really, of chilli powder. 1½ tablespoons of curry powder. 1 tablespoon of Dhaniya, which is also known as coriander powder, and 1 teaspoon of Garam Masala. 2 chopped tomatoes, about 650 grams of chicken, or also you could use 1 small baby chicken, chilies and coriander. So let's make a start. So we've just put in the oil there, our garlic, give it a good stir. You'd probably want to wait until your oil gets hot before you put your garlic in. Put our chopped onions in. You'll probably notice that I like to give everything a really good stir, like every 2 seconds. We'll put in our garlic and ginger paste. I make this homemade. If you want a video on this, then please let me know on how to make it. I'll make it for you and show you. Our salt. So with the salt, obviously you can try it at the end. If you like more salt, then go ahead and add more, but I always say add less than more, because obviously if you put in too much you can't take it out. So we are going to put in our garam masala, fresh garam masala there. So I've given 4 of everything. I like to count how much of that I'm putting in, because I actually take it out at the end, because there's nothing worse than when you're eating your curry for you to bite into one of those. It just ruins everything. So I'll put the lid on there only because I want the onions to be nice and soft. So if you put the lid on, then it does help to soften the onions much better. So give that a good stir. So I'll let it saute for about 10 to 15 minutes, just obviously not making sure that it doesn't burn. That's why I like to use a non-stick saucepan for all my curries really. There's nothing worse than if your curries burn. Okay, so I'm just putting in a little bit of water. That is to help the onions become a bit of a paste. So once the onions start breaking down quite well, that's when I'll add these spices. So it's time to add the spices now that the onions have become a bit of a paste. There's your haldi, your chili powder, curry powder, Dhaniya, Zira, and your Garam Masala. So we'll mix that all up. So at this point, what you just want to make sure that you don't do is burn the spices. Again, if you burn the spices, then it just doesn't taste very nice. So next I'm going to add the chopped tomatoes. If you don't have chopped tomatoes at home, then you could use tomato puree. I've even heard some people use tomato ketchup, but I haven't tried that. I'm not too sure how that would taste. Quite sweet, I guess. So here I'm just adding a bit of water. I was just a bit worried that it was going to be sticking to the bottom. I let that cook further for about another 5 minutes to let the tomatoes break down a little bit. So here I'm adding the chicken. I used a whole baby chicken. You can obviously use leg and thigh or any other chicken. The only chicken that I wouldn't advise doing this way would be rooster chicken, like the hard chicken. You would do that completely differently, which I can show you on another video. So if you put the lid on and let that cook for about another 15 to 20 minutes on a low to medium heat, then give it a good stir. What I'm waiting for is the juices to come out of the chicken and for that to be used as the sauce in this curry. I'm not going to be adding any extra water. I feel like it takes away the flavour of the chicken. So here you can see that the juices have really come out there. So as I was telling you earlier about the bay leaves, cardamom, cloves and the cinnamon, I'm going to take all of that out at this point. It's easier to do it when it's towards the end of making the curry because the sauces will lift all of the garam masala to the top, so it's easier to take out. So it's time to finish off the curry. We'll add in the chilies. You can add more chilies obviously if you find that you want the curry to be a bit more chillier, or not add any at all. I find that it makes the curry look nice, as well as give it a bit of fragrance as well. I've just added coriander there. I add quite a lot of coriander. A curry isn't a curry without coriander. Oh, you can hear my little man crying in the background. And there you have it, my very own Bangladeshi style chicken curry. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you.